Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Today we're rebuilding the 1992 Jaguar XJ220 and we actually previously bought in the last episode at the auction. We bought this car for one hell of a price, £13,551. That's an incredible price, but for a very good reason. There's not much here, and I was really excited at the time that we managed to get this car. It's our first Jaguar rebuild. And then as I'm looking more into it, I'm thinking, did we make an error? This is going to cost us quite a bit of money to replace everything, I believe, because you've got to go for Jaguar parts. They are more expensive than normal. But we'll see as we go along. So we're going to start by taking oil out, as always. Still, we're trying not to have that trophy for spilling oil on the floor. And we're going to have a look at what is actually in the car to take out, engine-wise. Now the engine is on the rear, as it is for most sports cars. So we need to have a look at the gearbox. And as you can see, there is a lot missing. We need to take off the rear wheels because we've got a rear-wheel drive vehicle here. So we need to get to the gearbox, and to do that we need to take the wheels off. Yeah, there's less than I expected. It's one of those weird ones. I'm just looking at it going, did I make an error? Hopefully it comes out good in the end. So wheels off first. And we can take the rear drive axle B. There we go. The rest can stay for the minute. I want to focus on the engine. We always try and stay with the engine to start with. Do that first. The rest of the car afterwards. So we'll try and stick with the engine for the first part. So left rear off as well. The other rear drive axle B off. And again, they're two parts we can't even fix. It's things like that I think are going to cost us in the long run financially. We need to find the way into the engine here. It's not in the trunk. I think it's in that hole in the middle there. Let's just grab the engine crane, ready for taking out when we're ready. We're not used to doing these kind of cars, so finding the engine can be a bit tricky. Just looking for our access point. We can't take it out, we need to take gearbox out. So I'm getting confused with what I need to do here. Let's lift the car up, and then we'll go for the gearbox. It's just me having a nightmare. So the gearbox should now come out. We've got the rear drive axles off. There we go. And again, that gearbox does not look in good shape. We can't fix that. That's a big repair bill. Oh, I think it's fixable. Looking at that, actually. It's in the orange, not the red. So there is a chance we can fix that gearbox. That will save us some money. That's going to be important. Okay, so let's head to the other garage. Put the engine on the engine stand. And have a proper look at it. And you may have just seen there, there's only 6 parts to the engine. 6. And that includes the gearbox stuff. I feel we might have made an error here. But let's take off everything we can. And then we'll go off and fix everything. And we will speed up the rebuild as there's going to be quite a few parts to put back on. Let me know in the comments whether you think the amount of speed ups we've done on this episode is better or worse than normal. I'm trying out different ways just to try and decrease the length of the videos a little bit, but still show everything we do. So we're off and fixing everything. So everything's fixed. And now we're going to fast forward, speed up time, and watch us rebuild. Right, we're nearly there. That is one good looking engine. There's quite a few parts that go into it. I'm just double checking there's nothing we've forgotten. There's quite a bit of parts go into it. I love the Jaguar writing on the top. That's really nice. Okay, I think we've just got Gearbox stuff to do, and that is it. I don't think I actually own any of the Gearbox stuff, no. So let's just quickly get these paid for. Flywheel. What's the quicker way of doing this? I've never tried doing it this way. Actually, that does work. That's quite quick. That's a lot quicker than putting it on your shopping list. But we just go to Gearbox and it shows us everything in the shop. That's a better way of doing it. Okay. The flywheel back on. The clutch plate. Even after all this time, we're still finding new ways to make things a bit easier for ourselves, which is quite good. Clutch release bearing, and that is the engine completely done. Like I say, I like the look of it. I think the top of it with the Jaguar emblem is lovely, and it is a very nice size engine. Hopefully it does itself justice later on. So we're going to now take apart the suspension. We will speed this up as well, but it will still show exactly what we did, starting with the rear of the car all the way to wheels off, and we'll see you when the suspension is done. So that is the suspension all dealt with. Now, we've also taken the bodywork off, as you would have seen. So we might as well weld the car now. This is going to cost us £1,900. Weld the car. And I hate to say it, but that car looks brand new again just on welding it. I love how that changes the look of the car. But that is everything done. We now need to go off and fix everything. It's going to take a little while. So as usual, we'll fast forward to when we're done. And we'll put the suspension back together. Everything is fixed. New parts are brought where needed. And as before, we're going to speed up the repairing and put it all back on, just to save ourselves time. Like I said earlier, let us know in the comments if you're happy with the amount of speed ups we're doing. If not, let me know and I'll go back to how I was. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the length of the videos. But we'll see you shortly. Okay, so that's the majority of everything done. Gearbox is back in place. Just have a look to see if we've missed anything else now, or if we can add things to our shopping list to make our life easier. Let's have a look. So what do we got? Oh, we've actually got front exhaust section we need to put back on. But I think that's the majority of the stuff done underneath the car now, I believe. So we're going to look at the front of the car. Now the front of the car contains the cooling and that kind of good stuff. I think battery's going to be this side. And even the fuel tank is this side. And that's an unusual one for us. We're so used to doing everything the other way around. But sports cars, they generally have a rear engine. So we're just going to put everything to our shopping list. And once that is done, we can go and buy everything. There's a radiator up the front as well. And we have a fuse box needed. Okay. I think that's most stuff now added to our shopping list. I just want to see if there's anything missing underneath the car. Just in case. Let's have a look. Okay, these are all the things we need. It's not quite working the way I wanted to at this point. I'm getting myself a little bit confused, which isn't helpful. Bear with me a second. I'm just trying to find other things without having to add them to a shopping list. Right, there's the fuel tank. That's what we needed. Yeah, things just aren't quite working for me at this point. I don't know why, I'm just finding it really confusing today. Right, fuel tank is back on our list. Just want to make sure we get the right one, because there was a choice of 3 fuel tanks, and we haven't had that before. So we can buy the standard fuel tank, that's fine, and we'll buy the fuel pump while we're here. I don't know why I'm confusing myself. It's a standard car. I don't know. Something about it just makes me nervous, and I don't want to buy the wrong part and waste money, considering I think we're going to be spending a lot anyway. Okay. Everything else should be on our list now. You can bring the car down, and we do need to go and buy all this stuff. So we need to buy the coolant reservoir. We've just got rid of the fuel tank off the list. ABS is on the electric, so we'll leave that. Brake servo first. Window washer reservoir. The fuse box, we'll do that last because it's no electronics. Radiator, perfect. Okay, so we need to go into electronics for ABS pump, which is actually there. We'll also buy the module now. We won't add it to shopping list. I've kind of learned that lesson. Fuse box, what we're going to do is put the fuse box in place, and then I'll, off camera, we'll quickly go and buy all the parts after adding them to shopping list. I'm just trying to speed up the fuse box side because I don't know how many we need. I can buy the cover now though. We can tell which one it is. There we go. So when the shopping screen doesn't move, that's generally me typing in things to try and do the search engine to try and make it a bit quicker. What I didn't realise till just now, you actually don't see the typing in screen. You just see the shopping screen still. That's an interesting one. I hadn't realised that was the case. But yeah, generally if we're pausing on the shopping screen, I may be typing something into the search bar just to make our life easier. But there's everything there. So we'll put the fuse box in place. Like I said, we're going to add all the fuses to the shopping list. I'm going to quickly go and buy them. And we can now put them back in place. I'm never going to learn what fuses you need for what car. I can't ever see me being at that point. But that's not a problem. It's just I'm just trying to save time. I'm trying to cut the time of the videos down a little bit. Hence why we've sped up more than we normally do. But I don't want to miss anything either. It's a really hard line to keep in the middle of. And sometimes I feel we're not showing enough. Sometimes I feel we're showing too much. So let me know what you think in the comments. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Okay, so all the fuses are in bar 1. We've got relay to go in now. And that is that done. Fuse box cover on. Job is done. Right, what have we got here? We need to do the radiator fan housing with 2 fans. That's in place. So I think whilst we're here, let's fill everything up. There's no reason not to. Everything is in this area. It's done. So let's fill all the liquids up, and then we can forget about it and move on to the engine bay itself. And we're saving ourselves a little bit of time. We don't have to come back. Hopefully this works and I haven't messed things up. We'll find out shortly. As long as I don't have to drain the liquid again, we'll be okay. That's always the one you don't want to be doing, draining it again once you've already filled it. Not too bad if it's old liquids, but brand new ones, yeah, I'd rather not be draining. So we've got the coolant going in now. And that is done. Okay, so I think that's everything there done. So let's head to the rear and the engine bay itself. What do we need to finish off here? So we need power steering reservoir. We haven't got. We need to buy one of those. And also it's got 2 of the air filters, just loose on the side. There's no, normally the air filters we've dealt with previously, they've had cases. These 2 don't. And there's a battery we haven't got either. Did we not take a battery out of the car? Because it's come from the auction, I'm not sure what comes in the car and what doesn't. Whereas we know battery doesn't come in the scrapyard. No, there's no battery on the battery charger. Definitely no. Okay, so we didn't have a battery. From the barn and scrapyard, we know that we always miss all the coolants, reservoirs, and all that good stuff is gone. But also, you're also missing a battery generally. And I wasn't sure with the auction where we'd get one, but it may depend on what standard of car you've bought. We're buying a Jaguar for £13,000 or 13.5. Battery probably wouldn't be there, so it does make sense. I just wasn't sure, and then I started doubting whether we took one out or not. But there we go. Okay, air filters in place. So first time doing these loose, and it's a bit weird having them loose. You'd think they'd have a case, but they don't. So while we're here, we might as well fill up the power steering reservoir. At least they're easier to put in place. It's one thing rather than 3, including the bottom and top of the air filter case. But power steering reservoir, that is done. And we do need to do oil. So this is the oil fill plug. I don't think we've used one of these before. Generally it's on the engine. We unscrew it and do it that way. This is a fill plug. I like this idea. It's a little easier to spot. It's easier to do. And luckily there's nothing else to take off to do so. So very good way of designing the car, I think. So I think that's everything done. I'm doubting myself, but I'm pretty sure that's everything. Let's do the internal. So we don't mess around really with the seats and the steering wheel. We're just going to put in the standards. So we'll add them to the shopping list. I've got to come out of doing the internal seats and things before we can buy them. But we'll go off and buy the interior. So we need 2 of these seats for the front. They're Jaguar official seats and the Jaguar steering wheel. I know some people do change what's in their cars. I kind of stick to what's meant to be in there. I don't think it really matters massively, price-wise or anything like that. So both the individual seats. There's no back seat, there's no bench this time, as it is a 2-seater car. And there we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to go off, we're going to put the bodywork back on, paint it, and my little boy is going to pick the colours for the car. We'll see you in a minute. And here we are, outside, lovely, nice fresh day, and he has picked the colour. So he's gone for a metallic, a chameleon blue. As you can see, it changes a little bit, different lights and different areas, but that is what he's gone for. I think it looks nice. It's a nice looking car. I would have personally probably kept it yellow, but that's me. But yeah, I'm letting him loose with the paint a little bit more, and this is what he comes up with. So we're going to go for a hot lap now, and this was on our 4th lap. We've been not really consistent. Previous laps, the first lap of a standing start was a 1:56. We did a 2:02 and a 1:50 last lap, so we've got quicker, but that 2:02 was a bit troublesome. We're struggling to keep the car on the track. Now the car has a lot of power, but it doesn't like laying it down. You try and move direction whilst accelerating, the car wants to kick out. Braking's not brilliant, it's okay. Trying to knock off the speed, considering how much power this car has, does get it quite difficult, and it does like to go sideways around the corners if you accelerate too heavy. But we're trying to hold it firm. I think I want a good time. I think this should be a good time, but I don't know. I want to beat a 150. I've got to be low 140 surely. I think our top time currently is a 144 in the leaderboards. So it'd be nice to be around that time if we can. But the car that did it didn't have an issue with laying its power down. And I think that's what's really holding us back at this point. It's all well and good having the fastest car, but if you can't put the power on the track, it doesn't make a difference. But what can the Jaguar do? So only a few more corners to go now. So far so good. Again, you can see us trying to control the car, trying to straighten up in a straight line before we hit the next corner, and that's a bit tricky. Braking nicely, just managed to keep it on track. Bit wide on this corner, took it late, couldn't quite get the car to turn. Off the track as we come towards the line now, last corner, and we're going to cross the line in a 1:49.345. That puts us second on the leaderboards. I was hoping for better, I honestly was, but as I say, it was difficult to get the power down. Corners, it wasn't brilliant cornering, but this is where it could redeem itself. I think this should smash the top speed we currently have set. So as a benchmark, the top speed currently is a 286 kilometers per hour. We don't beat that, I will be disappointed. Let's see, 286 to beat. It's ramping up quickly. It's not taking long. The speed this car gets up to is incredible. And again, no steering input. Right hand drive as well for the first time. We're nearly there. It has passed first place on the top speed. It's now second, setting its own record. And what are we going to finish at? 303 kilometers per hour, which is 188.275 miles per hour, and first place on the leaderboard. That's important. So let's talk numbers for this Jaguar. So the Jaguar XJ220, we paid £13,551 for it. We spent £35,957 fixing it, which gives us a total cost of £49,508. We are going to sell the car for £169,497. That's a decent amount of money. We're going to make a profit of £119,989. That's not to be sniffed at, is it? That's a decent profit. That must be up there for a record for highest profit. And a good looking car it is. Probably, like I say, would have kept for the yellow. My boy decided to turn it blue. I preferred the yellow. There we go, I lost that argument. But a nice looking car. So just to recap, second place on the lap time leaderboard, first place on the top speed. I'll take that every day of the week. And that's it. That is it for today. That is it for this rebuild. We'll see you next time.